Do you just sign up online for this? Do I need an adult?
You do have to sign up. You do have to have an adult's permission to play the digital version of the Pokemon trading card game. So,
Oh,
yeah,
just say with your parents' permission.
that's right. So make sure you get Olivia's permission to begin your online addiction to go along with your in real life addiction. It's what we do on the side now. We don't just do Lego or Black Series. We do Pokemon.
It does take up so much less space, though.
It does.
Like, everything I have is in one of those ETB
Uh-huh.
like boxes. That's all I have. That's it. That's all. Well, outside of the Japanese stuff I have now.
Yeah, I've got about 6 ETB boxes just like right here on the bottom shelf of the desk. And
yeah, I have one box and then one binder with the one box of the extra stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, and then I have all of the energies from the ETBs.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I think I threw mine away. I don't know.
And all the sleeves.
I do have extra sleeves, probably.
Got 6 unopened packs of both. I have a problem, John. I have a problem. Yeah, we went to Costco yesterday. And, no.
Costco.
Was it yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday. Because today's Monday. Keep thinking today's Sunday for some reason. But anyways, yeah, went to Costco yesterday.
Oh, there's an app for this? Do you use the app or do you just do it on
No, there's an
the
app.
website?
Yeah, there's an app. There's an app for everything now. Yeah, it's right here. Pokemon. Okay. There it is right there. Next to my collector app.
Oh,
and my Planet Fitness app that I never use. And my Safe Driver discount app. Because if that isn't the biggest scam.
Oh, on State Farm?
Yes.
Yeah, Olivia keeps yelling at me for this stupid thing, and I'm like, they just want to know where I go. That's all they want to know. And they already know, probably.
Well, and their sensor, I don't know how sensitive it is to, like, cornering, but I have got to be the worst cornering driver in the history of everything, because it must be like I'm driving a Grand Prix out there, because I take a basic turn and I get deducted cornering points. I'm thinking, I am in a all-wheel drive Nissan Altima. I'm not digging into any corners here. And yet, I've got like an 85 on cornering.
I dig in all the time. I can't wait to see that score.
And they say my acceleration's too rapid. I'm like, have you seen how people drive? Like, I have to accelerate rapidly because people aren't paying attention half the time. And this is somehow my fault.
Absolutely.
And braking, don't even get me started on the intersection of 270 and 40 in the morning. We have all the kids going to DeSmet. It is the worst place to drive because everyone stops. And so here I am putzing along, and then some minivan in front of me slams on the brakes, and then I have to brake. And then I get dinged for it because, you know what? I don't want to run into the person in front of me. Stupid app. All for a 25% savings. Let's go. Come on. Idiots.
It's not for savings. It's for tracking. They want more information.
I hope so.
They're just paying you for the information this time.
That's fair.
In a sense.
At least to get a kickback. At least I'm not being completely robbed. At least I'm not being completely robbed.
Oh, yeah, because car insurance isn't a complete sham for a good driver.
Oh, no. That's, yeah. When my insurance went up like $200, I called State Farm. Like, what's going on, guys? I've been a good customer. I get no accidents. And they're like, yeah, no, you're great. You're awesome. Yeah. And I'm like, where was my savings during COVID? And they're like, oh yeah, we gave you some money back. I'm like, yes. And then you've added it back on in triplicate. Like, my insurance rates have gone up $140 the last 2.5 years.
Yeah.
And it's like, they're like, yeah, it's really expensive. Really expensive to fix your car.
Like, you should have a savings account for me right now that I can spend at any moment for myself. Thank you for holding on to my money.
Yeah, exactly. You should be like SoFi with my high interest savings. Like, yeah, no, in your area, your car is really expensive to repair. I'm like, my area? Yeah. Most people out this way drive Nissans because it's a reliable car. That's my
That
problem.
16-year-old kid,
It's my fault.
that kid, you need to keep charging. Us, no. You have an account for me already, fully funded. Any total vehicle is in there already.
I am
Thank you.
fully vested in my insurance.
Insurance,
in my insurance savings.
In fact,
account.
I would like to get the cash value out of my auto loan or auto insurance policy, please.
Oh, that'd be fantastic. Could you imagine? Oh,
I
they
mean,
got business.
you'd be able to use it to buy a new car.
It'd be perfect.
Fantastic. Hey, I haven't gotten into a single car accident in the last 10 years. I should have all my insurance money available to me. Thank you.
Yeah, no, sorry, we gave it to that 19-year-old who likes to do donuts in the school parking lot and has wrapped his car around 7 light poles. Oh, okay, thanks, appreciate that. Thank you for that.
And your particular agent is 7 rungs lower than the other agents in the pyramid scheme of insurance, so you actually have to pay more for no apparent reason at all.
You get nothing. You lose. I want a new car. I want rims. You will get nothing and like it. So, yeah, all right. We ready to start?
I mean, we've been recording the whole time. I figured we did.
Well, that's just the
not
intro.
The start? No, it's not the start.
That is the intro.
The Force is what gives the Jedi his power.
Why is the Force connecting us?
I am a Jedi. Always do there are.
We're a dyad in the Force.
Well, welcome everyone to another episode of the Force Diet Podcast, the Star Wars show covering the latest and greatest from the core worlds to the outer rim. Star Wars is your space. We are your place. We are honored that you've joined us. We've got a jam-packed show for you this evening. We got 4 episodes of Bad Batch talk, and we've got the Acolyte trailer. So it is a full smorgasbord of Star Wars chat. I am your host, Obi Sean, joined as always by my co-host with the most, Jedi John. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, I'm doing great. Except for car insurance, doing great.
We'll see if I leave the car insurance diatribe in there. It might be fun. It'd be good. Everyone can relate to it. But it's good. It's good to get back and talk Star Wars. It's been a few weeks.
Only been a couple weeks.
Yeah. We've had our share of scheduling difficulties. I posted on Twitter the other day, right, about that. And of course, we have things beyond our control, such as clumsy construction workers who tear down houses and then rip down power lines and cable lines. They lit the excavator on fire. I thought they lit like part of the house or something on fire. No, they lit their excavator on fire. And so, yeah. So, fortunately, my cable internet has been fixed, and so I can record with you this evening. How you been?
I'm so happy for that. I've been good. You know, I love my kids a lot. Spent a lot of time with them. Extra bedtime time, but yeah, it's been good. It's been good.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, what's the new tactic? What's the new tactic these days for stalling?
The new tactic is, let me see here. I get a frying pan out, and I knock him upside the head, and I put him in his bed. No.
Should start with the whiskey on the gums first.
Oh, is that the trick? Yeah.
That's what it used to be, apparently.
Yeah, my 3-year-old is just a menace at bedtime, so it's been fine. It's just been, fight after fight. Let's go do this. I want this. I want water now. I want that. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. I want another book. You know what? I can read another book.
Ooh, books. Books are good. I was gonna say books are good. How many times do you have to eat before bed nowadays?
Oh, he tries multiple times, but it's his once we get one snack, whatever that happens to be. Yeah, it's going good.
So he fought you tonight, right? So we're burning the midnight oil. Speaking of children, I would be remiss if I did not celebrate my little man, whose 5th birthday was today. I don't know where 5 years has gone, but it has come and gone, and we had a phenomenal birthday weekend. It was a full weekend, so as a 5-year-old, he has nothing to complain about, right? But Lego party Saturday, family party yesterday, and today we went to the museum, which is up the way. I think it's owned by the Magic House folk. But if you imagine like Tumble Drum was combined with the Science Center, that's kind of what you have. Like they have this massive slide that also uses a radar gun to see how fast you slide down. There's giant bounce house trampolines right across from magnets and a Tesla coil show. So yeah, very fun stuff. So I'm emotionally drained from the weekend. I think I cried probably 4 or 5 times for different reasons. As a first-time dad, right? You get those emotional bits, right, where you realize that like this is the last like little kid birthday party because he's getting ready to start kindergarten. And so for any parents listening, I'm sure you know that feeling. So it's actually good that we kind of delayed because I had like this big sob fest after we put Connor down tonight. So because the weekend finally caught up to me. So, but
the whole shebang.
Indeed. But big happy birthday to my little guy who does actually tend to watch or listen to the episodes. So I think he'll hear this and get a kick out of it. So happy birthday, buddy.
Happy birthday.
So yeah. So pivoting now to Star Wars, we're going to do our Acolyte discussion here to start, and then because we have so much Bad Batch stuff to do, we'll end with that. So Acolyte trailer came out last Tuesday, right? Or Wednesday, Tuesday or Wednesday of last week. Naturally, everybody went bananas. Apparently, it was very similar to the trailer that was shown in London last year. It's just that the rest of us got to see it now, which is pretty cool. 2.5-ish minute trailer. A lot of stuff going on, a lot of new characters. Just give you the rundown of what we've gotten from the Star Wars like HoloNet for the characters. You got Amanda Stenberg as May, who is a former Padawan learner who's now a dangerous warrior. Lee Jung-jae as Sol. Manny Jacinto as Chimere. I'm going to say Chimere. Qimir. Daphne Keene as Jecki Lon, who is Sol's Padawan. Charlie Barnett as Yord Fandar, Jedi Knight and Temple Guardian. Jodie Turner-Smith as Mother Anicia, who is a leader of a coven of witches. So that I'm really excited about that. I'll talk about that here in a second. Rebecca Henderson as Vernestra Rowe, which is a big, or I think I said that wrong, but I think it's Rowo. But for the High Republic fans, she is a mainstay character at this point. Jonas Suotamo, is playing the Wookiee Jedi.
Junis.
Yeah.
Junis.
Kalnaka. And then Carrie Ann Moss is Indara. Right, so we see her, of course, in the trailer. So Trinity makes her her merge, right? She's crossed over now. So what do you think?
You think she is the one?
I know. See, they've already established that we already have our one established, right? In Star Wars, sure. So we don't have to worry about any controversy there. So your thoughts on the trailer?
Pretty much ruined my day. Wasn't excited at all. Decided that Kathleen Kennedy hates Star Wars.
And Leslie Headland, right?
Right, absolutely.
Of course.
No, I was pretty excited about it. I think I texted you and just said lots of lightsabers. It's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Good to see for the time period. I love anything that takes us back, going back to Coruscant. We saw some training exercises going on with the younglings. Yeah, I mean, I I would, there's always those confusing parts that you're like, I don't know what's going on exactly here. But if we're not using the Force against a knife fight, I don't know what we're doing. Um, but still, it was overall, I think, a great trailer, and it got me pumped for the series. Like I 2 months is too long right now, so like it's a little over 2 months still away, but should be very, very good. And I'm excited for it.
Yeah, we got the double episode drop June 4th. It's going to be an 8-episode first season, because I think I saw actually something come out end of last week that said season 2 is already underway. So, but for the uninitiated into the High Republic, like if this is your first venture into the High Republic, we are about 130 years prior to Order 66, so we're about 130 BBY. Or no, that's wrong. Sorry, 100. No, yeah, we are 130 BBY. So, what is that? 110 years ish before then. So we are about 100 years closer to the Skywalker saga than the first phase of the novels, and even closer, obviously, than the second phase. So, for those who aren't familiar, like I said, Vernestra is a character from the books, who's been around for a while now, obviously, and so it'll be really cool to get kind of her story, or see her in live action. I am super pumped to be able to talk more High Republic, and kind of fill in kind of those little nooks and crannies, specifically like with the witches. Like I said, in Phase 2, which actually takes place before Phase 1, it's like a prequels of sorts. You get a lot of introspection or information on other sects who are Force users but use it for different means. Obviously, we're aware of the Night Sisters, but by the looks of things, they don't appear to be Night Sister in the trailer. So these are other witches who utilize the Force. But even still, there are other groups, not just Jedi or Sith, who are using the Force, and she talks to that, right? It's not about good or evil, but who's allowed to wield the power. So I'm very, very stoked to see a bit more of that, and I love the feel of it. You get a bit more of a samurai, Kurosawa feel to at least how some of the scenes are shot, kind of a Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon-esque feel to the fight scene we see in the trailer. Like you said, bring the Force to a knife fight. So yeah, the emergence of the Sith, or what is presumed to be the Sith, will be great, because of course we get that for the first time in the Phantom Menace, but we know, of course, that the Sith have been around for thousands of years prior to that, all the way back to the Reformation of the Rule of Two with Darth Bane, and the fact that they've been hiding in the shadows, pulling the strings, puppeteering things. And I actually even saw a theory talking about, if the Sith could have a hand in the efforts of the Nile, which would be pretty cool. So yeah, I mean, I'm stoked to have High Republic live action stuff, and as you said, June can't come soon enough. So very, very excited about it.
Yay, more Star Wars! Yay! Get excited.
So we'll have about a month break between Bad Batch and the Acolyte. So
Yeah, somebody did ask me why they didn't release it on May, like the week of May the 4th. Like they're like, that just doesn't make any sense. Why would you wait till June? I'm like, well, they don't want to overlap with Bad Batch at all. Zero overlap.
Yeah, you'd have 2 days off if you actually. I mean, because Bad Batch comes out on the 1st, and so even if you dropped it that Friday, you'd have 2 days off, and they don't want to do that. So, stretch it out.
They want us to savor the Bad Batch ending.
Yeah, which.
Or cry afterwards. We'll see.
Yeah, I've got some thoughts on that, of course, as we get into our Bad Batch discussion. Anything else on the Acolyte? Again, kind of a short and sweet look at that. here.
Yeah, I mean, trailer's good. I mean, I don't know if we have to. We don't really have too much else to go on right now, so we will wait. I'm sure. I imagine we're gonna get at least one more trailer before it comes out. So
One would hope. Although, if they do, I really hope they don't do anything more than what they did with the red lightsaber ignition. I don't want any. I don't want any of that spoiled. So, okay. So with that, we'll then pivot into our Bad Batch discussion, which, again, as alluded to in the opening, is going to be absolutely massive. So since we last recorded, we've had 4 episodes come out. The Return, Infiltration, Extraction, and Bad Territory. So we're going to run down them. We're going to we're not going to spend a ton of time on, the episodes from a few weeks ago. But of course, we'll still touch on them. So going in order, we've got episode 5, The Return. You've got the gang headed back to the outpost that we saw in season 2 to try and uncover or decrypt Nalice's datapad. Right, that's the mission, is to try and decrypt her datapad to get coordinates for Mount Tantus. They're on Pabu. Crosshair speaks up, says he knows where to go, and they venture back to, again, the outpost, which has become severely snowed in. And we get ourselves a sandworm monster thing.
yeah,
And it's the first mission, of course, with Crosshair reintroduced to the crew. Obviously, that sort of reunification happened off screen, right? Presumably they hashed it out, at least to a degree, but you can still sense the lack of. There's that not
trust.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Trust
mistrust isn't the right word, but yes, an uneasiness around it. So, and that, yeah, I mean that's really the episode. So, what were your thoughts on episode 5?
I enjoyed it. I mean, I think the big thing that we started to see in this episode, and obviously we saw more episodes since then, so we're going to talk about it more, is just that in our eyes, obviously, Crosshair was a little bit redeemed with Omega already through their time together. Now it's his turn to get back with the guys and really show them that he wants to be one of them again, and how hurt he was for just following orders and the betrayal that he felt with the Empire. So we hear more about that in future episodes. I mean, we're not spoiling anything right now. So with the other 3 episodes in this show that we're covering, we get a little bit every episode of Crosshair trying to explain, like, there's more to the story that you guys did not see, and this is what happened. Mm-hmm. So, but overall, yeah, I covering an episode 4 episodes ago is kind of weird. So,
well,
I don't have a long list of notes on this episode right now in front of me.
No, of course. Give it a grade. What would you grade it, since we normally do that for episodes?
Oh yeah, like I put it on par with the previous episode for that, so like an 8.2 or 8.3. Mm-hmm. Nothing too crazy, nothing really groundbreaking happened during the episode or anything like that. So
yeah, it was again, it kind of, as you've alluded to, is the relationship that's budding between Crosshair and Omega is really concerning because we saw the same thing last season, and we all know what happened to the person who was cultivating a budding relationship with Omega. So it doesn't bode well for Crosshair. But I love the callback to season 2, episode 12, I think it was, which of course is the episode that kickstarted everything for Crosshair, being on the bad side of the Empire, so to speak. And so I thought it was interesting, in that episode, you're told that the sensors are meant to keep out raiders, when obviously we learn, of course, that it's meant to keep out the giant snow worm. And so it was good to see the gang back together in this episode. the tremors in his hand. He's fiddling with that at the beginning of the episode. AZ's trying to help him with target practice. So yeah, it was nice to see Crosshair back with the group in this episode. You can sense the emotion that he had going back through the barracks. He found the bandaged clone trooper bucket, clone bucket, which no doubt took him back to everything before that. And I mean, it was undoubtedly the best episode from last season, or if not, top two. So yeah, for me, it was. I'm not going to say it was fillery. I wish we would have gotten more kind of on their interaction when he came back into the group. And we kind of got that at times, but as soon as they'd start to go down that path, they would just kind of like get distracted off it, whether it was, between Crosshair and Hunter or in the control room. Yeah. So, yeah, I would give it a low 8, so like a 8.1 or an 8.2. So, and IMDb has it at a 7.8. So, rolling into episode 6 and 7, it was a twofer, which is why we're not quite as far behind as we might have been otherwise, because we got that double drop. So you got infiltration and extraction. Excuse me. You've got the return of Echo and Rex, and
Hauser.
And Hauser, the man with the most glorious hair ever to grace the head of a clone trooper. And of course we get Wolf. We do get the confirmation that
Yes.
that Commander Wolf is present.
Yes, my action figure shot up in value.
Did he really?
Immediately. No, I didn't look, but I'm sure you did.
I mean, it's possible. Right. So we kind of debated who are they, or what are they infiltrating? What are they extracting? I think we thought maybe they were doing something with Tantus, but obviously we're way too early for that. And it actually, I think, had more to do with the secret or the shadow clone infiltrating the base and trying to extract Omega from that. So we get another shadow clone who has been captured, actually, by Rex and his clone contingent that they've been amassing, right? And naturally, the shadow clone, one of the leaders, I don't know what you would call him. I guess hopefully we find out more about this program, but ends up tracking them down to this base, and it's amazing what sort of damage one special operative clone can do. But of course we've seen that with the Bad Batch, so maybe it's not that surprising. But he of course wreaks havoc, and Commander Wolf is tasked with tracking them down. They do escape. They are chased out into the woods, in the forest, where I actually thought Crosshair was going to eat it at the end of this episode. Actually, I thought that might be like he's going to help them get away, right? Like it was going to be his self-sacrifice. But that did not happen. They are back to doing the whole stun gun thing, which I still can't understand at this point.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't know if that's a Batch move or if that's Rex, because he realized that there were clones against them.
Was it? Yeah, maybe it was Rex who took him down. But regardless, you have the standoff at the end with Wolf, and Rex convinces him to let them go, and which is interesting, because we obviously know that Wolf, or for Rebels fans, we know that Wolf, along with Gregor, end up joining Rex well after this. So to see where Wolf is right now, still a sort of strident servant of the Empire, although of course still loyal to his brother. So I thought that was a very interesting interaction at the end of the episode. And then of course secret clone, shadow clone fella, not dead, of course, lives to fight another day. So 6 and 7, what'd you think?
Combined?
Yes. Yeah, because
I really appreciate that we got them both together, because I would have not been happy with the first one and waiting a week. So I'm glad they decided to do a double drop, even though it wasn't exactly the midpoint of the season or anything like that. So yeah, like you said, it's amazing that one clone can get in there and do that much damage. and then I enjoyed the escape, not just Crosshair and the special operative. It was more about the team's motions, and also when you look at the stuff from Wolf, like they pincered them in, like just hearing some of the tactical stuff that they were working through, like they knew how they were going to try to escape. They knew what to do um, to make sure they did not let that happen. They knew the spire would be the exit route. So I don't know, like some of that stuff was just like cool to listen to, and just it took me back to the Clone Wars TV show when they would start calling out tactical advancements and stuff like that. So just took me back. I love hearing more clones. And like you said, Wolf at the end, letting him go. I was kind of interested in what was going to happen because I didn't know if somebody was going to get like an itchy trigger finger or something like that. Like, could have definitely happened and ruined the day. But at the same time, we knew quite a few of the people in that scene had pretty thick plot armor. So
yeah, and it was one of those where I was really interested to find out, of course, that, which was kind of the big, well, yeah, it was kind of the big reveal of this episode, is the fact that Crosshair was in that training, or he was being forced to be one of those clones, which is why he knew about the kind of the electro capsule that they're supposed to chomp down on.
yeah, I was gonna say there are Hydra agents in there. I don't know
Yes.
if you're familiar with the Marvel, but
Uh-huh.
most people that are,
Uh-huh.
they bite down hard in that cyanide capsule, like German Spy series 1.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Exactly. So it was really, and of course, there's an immense mistrust of Crosshair still, and so you get a double dose of that with Hauser, because the last time Hauser saw him, well, it was Bad News Bears, and
Not a friendly Crosshair.
so unsurprisingly, and who could blame him, right? His level of mistrust for Crosshair is at an elevated level, and then to have the shadow clone captor, or not captor, prisoner, call him brother, and be like, hey, you're basically one of us, didn't help things. And so it's almost an episode of Crosshair trying to gain everyone's trust back, right? Because he's lost all of it, and so every kind of little mini step from the outpost to now this batch of episodes, it's him slowly trying to gain that goodwill back.
I also really enjoyed Crosshair's thermal scope.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very interesting scene with the thermal scope going back and forth. Like, I don't know. That's kind of stuff I really enjoy watching, though. So
Yeah, and it's it's nice to have an episode like this, or episodes like this, right? Because you've kind of slowly been building. The last few episodes have been slower, right? They've been character building, story building, very important, but slow. And so you kind of get your mini boom, right, in these two episodes, and it'll be interesting to see what happens, because they lost so many. There's so many of the clones that they had found. They'd spent time to find and rescue, and they've been lost, all because of this one clone operative, shadow clone operative, that they captured, who then obviously led to the raid on their hideout. So, what kind of grade would you give the pair? Not individual episodes, but like as a 2-pair episode, what would you grade it?
it's probably a 9 for me. Like,
Okay.
I was pretty happy with them. Didn't really see anything not good. So I mean, I wouldn't. Yeah, I mean, I'd give it a 9.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say I'm probably in a similar boat. I'm probably more mid 8.5s, like 8.5, 8.6. Just because at this point with this series, like, we know what kind of the 9s are. They're kind of like that emotional. They're either heavily emotional or big things go boom, like on a grand scale, right? Like the destruction of Topoka City and stuff like that. So this is definitely like top tier, but like just below, elite. So definitely in that mid 8 for me. Combined, IMDb's got it in that 8.4, 8.5, 8.6 area. So, yeah, it was, like I said, a nice little action-packed thing. They're starting to understand, or starting to question the M count stuff, which we'll get into in episode 8 here. Trying to understand why they're after Omega. It does still kind of bother me to a degree that like everything is driven through her. It's not the worst.
We knew it was going to come to this, though. We did know.
Right.
I mean, from episode 1 of the series. I mean, we were already talking about force sensitivity when she was telling Crosshair, "I know what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Just do it." So like we knew we were going to get to this point where everything was going to be about Omega.
Yeah, and it's not so much.
And now that we're here, it doesn't really feel great, but at the same time, we knew it was coming.
Well, it doesn't really bother. I'm not as bothered by it as like the point-to-point missions that, like in The Mandalorian, where it's like, all right, we got to take Grogu here and take Grogu here and take Grogu here. But we kind of talked about it in our last episode.
Just wait till the next episode.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But with the different approach, right? We talked about it in the last episode about how everything could have been avoided if they didn't chase after Batcher. But that's neither here nor there. That's the path of the storytelling, and it's worked, and it was inevitable. So that's episode 6 and 7, and so now we will touch on the most recent
Omega
episode.
is the Thanos of the Bad Batch series.
Oh god, I hope she doesn't snap. Episode 8, bad territory. Nice. This is a Hunter and Wrecker adventure with Crosshair and Omega not left behind, but told to stay behind.
Doing that meditation.
Dude, that was... I was like, yes, let's get some of that at the end of that. That was awesome. But yeah. So we start out with AZ and trying to diagnose Crosshair's tremors, and
he's trying so hard.
God love AZ. He's just trying. He's just a droid. Talking about how it's all in his head, and of course Crosshair doesn't take kindly to that. So that was kind of a funny. Mood, like it eased things a bit, right? That kind of comical stylings of AZ. So, but of course, Hunter and Wrecker are the whole group's wanting to get info on who's after Omega. Naturally, we got to go find a bounty hunter, and they somehow still have Fennec's contact. I don't know if I want to know how they have just her on speed dial, or how they know where to find her.
That was the I am forgetting the pirate's name right now. But they went through the pirate. The pirate got them in contact. They're friendly pirate. They're liberator of antiquities.
Oh, Fee. That's right, Fee.
Fee.
That's right,
Fee.
Fee.
Thank you. Just could not remember her name off the top of my head right now. But
That's
they went
Fee.
through Fee.
That's
Fee
right.
got them hooked up.
That's right. Yes, thank you for reminding me. I also like that, now that you mentioned that, the liberator of lost items. I loved that little interaction again between Omega and Crosshair, where she's
a pirate. Yep.
She's a pirate.
She's a pirate. Yep.
Yes. And so I love that they're focusing on their relationship, but it is also really, really concerning that they are focusing on the relationship.
Yeah, he did have one line. I can't remember which episode it was in now, because obviously we've seen 4 of them without talking. But it was the one where she says, "You're just like Hunter," and he's like, "Oh, I am so much worse than Hunter." I think it was probably in the episode 7. It was on the escape.
Oh, with Extraction.
Because it was on in Extraction, because they got down and he was giving her orders or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Or, "Can you carry that pack alone?" or something like that. And you're as bad as Hunter. I am so much worse.
Ah, yes.
All the dad batch.
So we got a reunification of the group with Fennec, and they mentioned the M count bounties, which she says she hasn't gotten one of those in a while, meaning that there are multiple, which leads into a whole another discussion point. But they're of course told, hey, you got to help me get this guy that I've been chasing after, and I'll get you the information they need. They're in like some sort of swamp planet. Keith actually put it in a funny way. Swamp Justice. So Bad Batch episode 8, Swamp Justice. Swamp people, for anybody who watches the History Channel show. So the short of it is they help Fennec track down this bounty. They capture him, and they're told by Fennec that they have to trust her, of course, and that she'll get the information they need. And we close the episode with her calling somebody on the ship to let them know that she's run into a group of clones that this person might be interested in. And so the big question is, who is she talking to? Before we get into that speculation, other stuff, what did you think of the episode?
I enjoyed the episode for what it was. Yeah, that's what I'll say. I don't really know what else to say with it. Like, I enjoyed some of the scenes. It did. It would have been unfortunate, but like you could have lost one of our members on the mission this time. They were actually in peril for a little bit, so there was some suspenseful parts that you really didn't know if they were going to make it. Like, if one of the members had to go back to the group and had to say so and so didn't make it, but we got this info, like there would have been a trade-off that we would have had to deal with. Now, granted, the information they got at the end of the episode was nothing, so that would have been frustrating. But they did. They were in danger for parts of the episode, so that was cool. Just the feeling that we could lose one of the favorites, obviously. So.
Right. Yeah, because when they got taken off by that by the alligator, or what, basically the swamp gators, I was like, is someone gonna get eaten here? That would be a new one. I was looking. I'm watching the end of the episode because with Fennec talking about that.
It was a very dark episode, though. Like the picture itself was just a very dark. Like, I mean, it was like they're in a swamp. It's dark. It's night. Like, it was just a very dark episode, not dark undertones or anything. It was just a dark episode.
Yeah, it was a lot of earth tones, brown muddied tones.
Yeah, earth.
It's like my old.
But yeah,
apartment.
I did enjoy the meditation thing with Crosshair. She's trying to work with him, obviously, to get him back up to speed. It'll be just in time for him to die, so I can't wait for that. And we'll go from there. That's what I truly feel like they're gonna get him back up to speed, and then he's gonna use it'll be his last episode that he's in.
Yeah, the meditation scene at the end was great because of course he's like, where did you learn this? And the second she's like, I learned it from Gungi. I'm like, oh yes. So she's learning force meditation, and it's really, again, it's an interesting thing, right? Because not only is the group having to learn to trust Crosshair, right? He's having to learn to trust her, because the last time they were together, she was in his eyes, more or less useless, right? And now in the time since, she's become such an integral part of the team with a vast array of skills that she has become trustworthy, in his eyes, trustworthy, and allowing himself to open up and soften that edge is, something he's not used to, right? And something that the other guys have had to deal with in being around her, of course. And it almost goes...
I'm a viable member of the team.
Exactly, and in a way, it goes back to I think probably what we talked about in season 1, maybe season 2. It had to have been season 1 about the patriarchal view on things and how they went from being these hardened soldiers who were so used to seeing unimaginable things, right? And now they're caring for a child, and they have to they're at, you have to soften the edge. It's with any parent, right? When you are one way until you have a kid, and then the second you have a kid, you are completely changed. And so, whereas the other guys have all kind of been broken down in a way, or their personalities have changed, Crosshair's hasn't, and he's just now getting to that point, I think, which, as you said, is perfect because it's timing up for him to no longer be part of the team, which is depressing.
Yeah.
And so, the more I watch it, the more I don't want Crosshair. I mean, I didn't want him to die anyways, but the more I'm like, please don't kill him, because he's finally getting there.
Oh, they're gonna make it so hard. It's gonna be a heart wrench. It's gonna be heart wrenching.
And with the relationship that they've developed, it being prisoners on Tantus for so long, it's gonna be extra hard, right? It would be, which is weird because before you wouldn't think that there'd be that emotional connection between the two of them, and now it's gonna be bad.
It's gonna be bad. I also we missed a level up for Omega. She got a new piece of equipment added to the inventory, the crossbow. Yeah.
Which we haven't seen her use yet, of course, but you're right. She did get a new weapon.
Yeah, she got an upgrade.
So at the end of the episode, you've got Fennec talking to an off-screen hologram, and so again, I was going back and watching the end to get the actual verbiage. She talks about just finishing a mission. What's it say? It says, I just finished a job with some clones. They were asking about the Empire's M-count bounties. And it's like, what can you tell me? And she's like, I will send you what I have. They should be easy enough to track, or I'm sure you can track them down easy enough, right? So, of course, we're talking to another bounty hunter, right? And the next episode is called The Harbinger. And so, your thoughts on who she's talking to?
The only ones that come to mind would be people that she's probably on decent terms with currently. Mm-hmm. So you can eliminate Cad, likely, from that conversation. And then we know we have Asajj from the trailer. So in my mind, it's like somebody like Boba or Asajj, because she was, definitely contacting somebody that went after M count targets. Asajj would be a perfect bounty hunter to go after M count subjects. Mm-hmm. So, and Boba has already been enlisted many times by the Empire for random other things. So he could have already been working with them at this point.
Yeah. My thoughts are solely on Asajj.
Yeah, that's immediately where my head went too. But
and I was trying to remember.
I'd still love to see some people. So
and I think in the trailer we saw Cad, right, and her. Those are the two known bounty hunters we saw. In our hopes and speculations, we hoped that Boba would show up. I still think that we're at a point in the timeline where Boba, he's a bounty hunter, so he'll work for whoever. I could see him still being affiliated, or at least known to Fennec. Maybe he doesn't know her, but I feel like on a personal level, like somebody that she would talk to, I don't think she'd be friendly with Cad after what happened before. So it almost makes it seem like the only person who makes sense is Asajj. And then I was trying to remember if there was something in the title that would give it away. thinking back to Dark Disciple, and so I just Googled the Harbinger, and the first thing that came up was the villain from Halo, and the description of the character is a tall, slender female, which describes Asajj perfectly. So,
Dave Filoni is a Halo fan, so that's what we're speculating right now.
yeah, that's the thinking. So, but I think it'd be a perfect time for her to show up, because in the trailer we figured, actually we thought maybe it was like a back and forth, but you called out Crosshair and his armor in that portion of the trailer, right? So it looks like we may be getting that, and it would also seem it's hard to tell whether Fennec's in the process of betraying them, or if she actually is trying to help them. And I think it would make sense for it to be Asajj because of obviously her ties to the Force, and the fact that in the trailer she says that she wasn't trying to kill, or she's not there to kill him, but they were making it very tempting or something like that. I forget the words exactly. So, if it's not her, I would be very surprised.
Yeah, me too. I fully expect to see her next episode. I don't know who else you would bring. The only other person that would fit that description would be like I don't know. We'd have to get a high tier person in the Empire to come through. That's the only thing I can think of. But they don't have any way to track the batch currently. So
Right. Yeah, and so the other thing that comes out of it is the fact that there are multiple M count bounties, right? And we, of course, know that this is almost a necessity, right? Because of the project on Tantus, the fact that they have the vault. We've seen it in Kenobi. They're rounding up M count subjects,
yeah.
For this testing. I'm curious, how are they finding them, right? Because like, how do they know who to track? Jedi are easy targets, of course, but there aren't a ton of them left, at least the way they were.
Well, I imagine this is still Inquisitor territory too, so
Oh, certainly, 100%.
so I imagine they're doing a lot of the heavy lifting, and then bounty hunters are just picking up whatever they can.
I'm curious why the Empire would have Jedi hunters sent to actually kill Jedi, but then they'd want to capture others. It just doesn't make sense. It's almost like they're trying to find non-Jedi Force sensitive people.
Yeah.
With maybe the exception being like Grogu, of course. But with Omega, she's not going to know she's Force sensitive, although maybe she's kind of picking up on it. But she's definitely not Jedi. And so maybe they're looking for a more neutral Force host to try and use for their cloning projects. Because maybe one way, if you lean too far one way or the other, maybe it doesn't work. Maybe it doesn't work as well. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see.
I mean, that's not a bad theory. Like, if you're too good already, you can't. It's not going to work. Like, I don't know.
Like you're too pure, or not pure is not the right word either. You're too saturated or something like that. You don't mix well, right? Because you like overtake the host or something like that. It also makes me worried or curious about like someone like Gungi, which we kind of talked about, I think, last year or last season, which I guess was last year, about knowing what happens on Kashyyyk. And I think I was wondering if that's why Crosshair peaked when she said, I met him on Kashyyyk because he knows what the Empire is going to do on Kashyyyk. Or maybe he knows what the Empire is doing on Kashyyyk as far as the enslavement
Mining,
of the Wookiees
slaving,
and the
yeah.
mining and all of that stuff. And it would totally make sense that the Wookiees, at least in some respects, are very attuned to the Force, right? Attuned to the natural side of the living Force and everything like that. And so they might be good candidates for this project as well. And of course, Gungi being an actual Jedi. I don't know. That also crept in my mind too when they started talking about Kashyyyk. I was like, oh God, does Crosshair know something that nobody else does? I don't know.
I think it's just also been he's probably more surprised that she had been to, multiple planets at this point. Like, and she even said a lot's happened since you've left us.
Right.
So.
All right. So you kind of gave your thoughts on the episode. What would you grade it? What grade would you give it?
Oh, I'm probably in that 8.5. Yeah.
8.5. Wow. You are a
You think
generous
that's too
one.
high?
You are a generous one.
Yeah, I'm feeling good today. I don't know what it is. I'm just feeling good. I mean, thinking about some of the character development that we got from Omega and Crosshair together again, I just really enjoyed that scene. And the more I talk about it, I still really enjoyed the scene.
Mm-hmm.
And Hunter and Wrecker, it's fun always seeing the guys do stuff that they're good at, Wrecker especially, the fact that he's the demolition expert, throwing grenades, I totally see happening with him, and even maybe planting and setting, but disarming, that's I did not see it coming. But yeah,
he has the gentle nature of a bomb diffuser.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah. So, but it's still cool to see, because Fennec's like, you're the explosive expert, right? And he's like, well, yeah, that's me. I'm the best. I'm like, okay, man. Yeah. But yeah, I think I just really enjoyed that stuff about it, and seeing the Kung Fu Mantis was fun, just because.
That was cool. That was cool. The bounty taking his licks at the guys. So the IMDb rating has it at a 7.1.
Yeah, I imagine they ripped it apart because it's just a placeholder for most part.
Well, and I feel like,
and we didn't get the information at the end, which is kind of disappointing. I'm not gonna lie. So,
and I feel like with the other quote unquote filler episodes, you at least got something from it, right? So you kind of I think hit the nail on the head there, right? So whether it's the character development leading into even if they didn't find anything on Nalisay's datapad, they still unlocked it, or they decrypted it to some extent. I still don't think they were able to decrypt it fully, but the thing with a different approach, right? You get a lot, not a ton happens, but you get a lot of backstory. Of course, infiltration, extraction, that's kind of a no-brainer. So I do feel like with this one, yes, we get Fennec back, which is cool, but we don't really get her in any meaningful sense right now, other than to make contact with this mysterious bounty hunter that presumably we'll see next episode. Maybe it'll be a couple episodes, because we've got the Harbinger and then Identity Crisis, and then Point of No Return of the next 3 episodes. And so, yeah, I would probably give it a high 7. It's not terrible. There was some fun sort of actiony bits. I agree. The character development between Omega and Crosshair is good, also concerning, as I've said at least 6 different times now.
You're like, I've seen this before.
As one who's been hurt already in this with this
I'm ready.
with this show.
I'm ready to get hurt. I'm ready to get hurt.
It's not trending well. But I will say it is really refreshing to see, despite everything being centered around Omega, which again, not necessarily a bad thing. It's just that's how they're taking it. To see the maturity of her throughout this season, right? And that she's clearly not a child anymore, right? She is definitely evolved into one of the crew, and she's not afraid to take anything on. I'm not gonna say she was ever afraid, right? She was always kind of that headstrong kind of character, but the last few episodes definitely there's been a lot more. The maturity level, you can see it right in the character, and it's one of the things I love about these slower episodes is that it allows those characters to like evolve naturally and not feel like it's just shoehorned in. And
Yeah, I
so,
think, something that we didn't really get to see a lot of was her in isolation. We only got it for a couple episodes of stuff to open up the season. And during that time, I'm sure she had to rely on some of these things that she had learned throughout her time with the Bad Batch. As far as like, traveling to Kashyyyk and going through meditation, like she was isolated from pretty much everything except for her daily chores, and talking with Emery and maybe Nalase occasionally. But she definitely has, we'll call it an evolution. Like she evolved into this very capable, very mature member of the team. So, and she'll be the first one to bring it up how she's the older sister technically. So,
right, and yeah, so naturally she's the one who should be more grounded. Talking about the isolation, it makes me wonder how much that meditation stuff helped her get through those doldrums, every day, centering herself, centering her mind. It's probably why she was so sharp at the end of everything. So, yeah, we're halfway through the season. Got 7 episodes left, so a lot left to unfold in the last bit. Yeah, I see things only amping up from here. I think we've got the groundwork in place now for an explosive back half. Anything else you want to add for the either this most recent episode or the last 4-pack that we've talked about tonight?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay. All right. Well, with that, yeah, we're gonna bring the episode to a close. We want to thank you all for listening. If you made it this far, be sure to follow or subscribe to the show. Leave a rating or review and link up with us on social media. Be sure to check the show notes for links to our social channels. And if you have things you'd like to hear in the future episodes, our DMs are always there to slide on into. Check out the back catalog of episodes, where you're sure to find something that you'll enjoy, and share us with your friends. Join us, and together we will rule the galaxy. As we have for the better part of this year, we will leave you with this small nugget of wisdom that I have artfully stolen from the Clone Wars opening title sequence. It says, "One must let go of the past to hold on to the future." So I think it is very poignant for the group as they transition, forward. And perhaps it will help Crosshair with the trauma that he's dealing with. So with that, we're going to bring this episode to a close. So for Jedi John, I'm Obi Sean. And until next time,
May the Force be with you.